Yeah. Just to, like, use you as, you know, throw you out there so it's not on him.
Yeah, he said
you
that.
know
He's
what
like,
I mean?
yeah, see, but he says he'll do that, and then he says I'll never go home. I probably was dumb. Because I feel like, no offense, but, like, I feel like I do know, like, every information that everyone just said. Like, he's already told me all that. That's why I feel stupid. But I don't think that he is with Kale, but then at the same time, I don't know.
You don't know. If it makes you feel any better, like, my whole opinion on it was, like, you know, when they ask me in there, and it's like, well, what if you're wrong? And it's like,
They've never said that to me.
I said, well, I very well could be wrong, but they've said that to me numerous times. And I said, I very well could be wrong, but I feel so strongly about this that, like, last week in the game, I made the biggest mistake that, honestly, if this is wrong, I don't care. I'm willing to take that chance. And that's honestly how I feel. And I know how you feel, like what you said yesterday, you know, like he's playing everybody else in this house, you know, it's hard to trust that he's not playing you too. Yeah. And that's a risky position to be in.
No, I know. I'm not.
Don't know
now
for
it's too late. Obviously, everyone, I mean, he's obviously going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know that you're safe with most of these people in here, if not all of them. I'm just saying, especially since the veto competition, I'm being honest.
What is this veto competition?
Because everybody's like with the money thing and all that stuff. They're like, Jen has a free summer in here, which is kind of true. In your favor.
Oh, because obviously
because
anyone's
they'd rather be sitting next to you.
Because anyone's gonna.
Which is good for you, though.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if I don't get any money and I still get second. To tell you the truth, like I just think that'd be. I mean, that's all I wanted. That's all I've ever said I wanted. I just hate being put on the spot with things that, like...
I know, and Dustin's being a total jerk. I hate... He's being so rude, and it's because it's about Amber, and he doesn't want to believe it, because Amber's been using him the whole time.
Okay, if I tell you something, like, I promise that you can't say, it's been Dustin that's telling Kale.
See, and I said that... I swear to God I said that, too, because he's been talking to Kale a lot.
No, it is. I'm 100% sure of that.
Telling her what, though?
That she was safe last week. That anything that's going on, it's Dustin that's been talking to Kale, not Eric. Just so you know. I couldn't say that because he was sitting right here.
No, I know.
And I didn't want that to be out.
And that's why he's so defensive about everything, too.
That's why I'm confused. Why is he being so defensive? Because if he doesn't go up, if Eric doesn't go up, it's him. I mean, no offense. I mean, maybe it's not, but you know what I mean? Like... He's the actual one that's doing a lot of it.
Yeah, but he'd be safe if it was him. That's the thing. With all these other people, he'd be safe. It's like, you know, in this game, there's so many people playing so many, like, just lying about so much
stuff.
That's
why I hate it. That's the worst thing about it for me. I can't do it.
Believe me, I've said so many times that I don't even, oh, God. But at the same time, like, I don't know. My opinion is I just think that Eric is the biggest threat in the game right now. And, like, I don't know why these people don't want to believe it.
I think once you put him up, like, everyone will vote him out. Why would you keep someone like Eric in when you could keep Kale, who can't play HOHs, in? And Dustin is working with her.
Kale? With Amber, too? Leaves, too. Because... you know, it's like Amber and then Eric and then Dustin and then Kale. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I even said I think that handcuffing thing had something to do with it. Amber and Kale.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember, and there's been numerous times too, and I even called it and we couldn't figure out what it was. Dustin was up here last week and he said something about, because it was Kale and Nick. Or Kale and Zach, or whoever they were going to put up. Or no, was it that week? I think it might have been the week before. I don't even know, but it doesn't even matter. Dustin kept saying, Kale is like putty in my hands. Kale is like putty in my hands. I can do whatever I want with her. She will do whatever I tell her.
Yeah, he was telling her to use the POV on herself.
And you told me that too.
Yeah.
And, he kept saying that, and we're all like, you know, don't you think that's a little funny that, you know, he's so confident and that you would admit all that? And then Amber's like the one backtracking for him to every single person, like, you know, he didn't mean to come across like that. He just got a little, you know, whatever, blah, 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 like trying to make him seem better.
Definitely. I don't think that it's Eric with Kale. I really don't. But I do think it's Dustin with Kale.
But even...
It doesn't matter, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Now, especially with Kale not having 5 HOHs, it really doesn't matter at all.
Mm-mm. At all. And Dustin is a user. Dustin still put her up. Dustin put me and her up last week, telling us both that we wouldn't go home when he did it. He didn't want to put Zach up. He was never putting Zach up. Don't let him fool you.
I said too.
Dustin was never putting Zach up.
He said that his whole theory was to get Zach out.
No, it wasn't. I don't care what he says. It wasn't. I'm not saying it was Nick, because if he would have told me Nick, I would have been it would have been different. Like, I might have stood up there with Kale and just left it, you know? Because then I felt like she probably would have gone home. But, because I like people like Nick that are actually not complete, compulsive, manipulative liars. Yeah. Because when I told Kayla I was going to put up Dustin and Dick, she's like, why don't you put up Dick and Jessica? And I'm like, why would I put up Jessica?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was like, okay. I was like, oh, well, okay, I don't know who I'm putting up.
Because, okay, I could be wrong about the first vote. I know for a fact it wasn't Nick, so either way it doesn't matter, and either way he was being set up because Eric used that to his advantage.
But see, I never even heard about it. How did no one ever ask me until, like, yesterday?
Oh, no.
Like, at the time, like 2 weeks ago, no one ever came up to me and said, hey, Jen,
I think because everybody assumed Eric
it was
true. Saying the truth. But the first thing, I went up to Nick right afterwards, and I said, I think it was Dustin. And then I brushed that off because... I don't even know why, to be completely honest. I think that's when Eric got in my head and said it was Nick, and I believed him for a while.
I think it was Amber this past week. And that's why Dustin just took that $100 deal.
No, that's what I was going to say. If he was the one, though, the first week who voted
to Amber to do it. Amber didn't cry.
To keep Kale.
She's a compulsive crier. If she voted Nick out, she would have been crying. She would have been crying. Like, come on. How in the world would Amber have not cried if she just said, I vote to evict Nick? That's how I feel about it.
I didn't even look at her.
But she'd probably stay. And I promise, like, I normally don't tell, like, anyone, like, this much information ever. Like I've never, like, come up here and, like, told Dustin or your dad or, like, anyone that's HOA. Well, I guess I was the only other. I told myself a lot.
The only thing, though, is, like, I couldn't put Dustin up this week because he would not have the votes to go home.
No, I know. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying, like, I'm just letting you know it's not Eric. It's Dustin that was telling me.
But don't you think, though, that Eric is, like,
I still think he's definitely a threat.
But the biggest one?
Not. Yeah, I definitely think so. And now he'll hate me and you if he stays because I just pretty much told everyone everything that it is.
I know.
So I'm obviously not going against that.
But we need one more vote.
You don't think Jamaica will?
I don't know. To be honest, like, I think that we could get Jamaica, especially, like, as mean as it sounds, but especially using the guilt factor because she feels really guilty about Nick. Because if she wouldn't have used the veto, Nick wouldn't have gone up. And my dad could be the one to do it.
But how will that put up Eric?
What do you mean? Because then she'll vote Eric out. Because Eric was setting him up the whole time.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I knew, and you knew, that he was going to get to Jessica.
Oh, I know. That's why I was saying.
I don't get those Jessica's. Wait, Jessica's a lot smarter than that.
Maybe she's just putting on a front just in case it doesn't work. Because she's in front of Jamaica and she's in front of Dustin right now. You know what I mean? Like, that was awkward. That was way too many people to be having that conversation
Well,
with.
he shouldn't have been here in the
If
first
Dustin wasn't
place.
here, it would have been a lot different of a conversation. Why was he even up here?
Because Jamaica